Hi folks, HR Funk here with a midweek update to finally reveal which handgun all of you selected as your favorite one from my most recent group of law enforcement qualification course challenge videos. Now this was group number 4 and there were 10 courses, and behind me on the bench I have all 10 contestants lined up. And what I'm going to do to add to the suspense and draw it out just a little bit longer is reintroduce all 10 of the contestants. Then I'll announce the second runner-up, then the first runner-up, and ultimately I will identify which firearm all of you voted on and selected as your favorite one from this group of qualification course challenge videos. So here we go. So kicking things off in the order that they appeared in the qualification videos, I'm going to start things with my Smith & Wesson 3-inch Model 66 357 Magnum. I've said many times this is my own personal favorite revolver, and this is the one that I used with the Louisiana course. Next was the Delaware course, and for that one I used my Remington 1911 R1 Enhanced Commander. Here's a close-up look at that one. And again, this was the one that I used with the Delaware course. And next came my Smith & Wesson model M&P 9 2.0. This is a former duty pistol. I have an extensive review on this pistol that I recorded a couple of years ago that's still up. This is a very good pistol. It served me very well when I was carrying it as a duty pistol. And as I've said several times in the past, the only reason that it's semi-retired now is because I wanted to move on to a pistol with a micro red dot sight. So again, next up is my Smith & Wesson M&P 9 2.0. Next I fired the New Hampshire course, and I decided to have some fun with that course. So I broke out my Model 629 mountain gun, and I shot that course with full power 44 Magnum ammunition. And it was a lot of fun. The revolver performed very well. This is also a personal favorite of mine. I enjoyed shooting it in that course, and this was another one you all had as an option to vote for during this group of 10. At the midway point in this group of courses, I shot the course from the Empire State. And with the New York course, I used my Model 5943 SSV. This is one that was a recent addition to my collection, or maybe I should say a recent re-edition. I did carry one of these as a duty pistol back during the 1990s, and I was very fortunate to get this one, which, in case you couldn't tell, is in very good condition. And it performed very well on that New York course when I shot it. And this was number 5 in the list of these last 10 qualification courses. Next was another M&P 2.0, but this time it's my M&P 2.0 45. And this pistol also performed very well. I've been carrying and shooting M&P pistols since 2007. They've generally performed very well for me, and the 45 is no exception to that. And this 2.0 version benefits from a much better trigger than I've noticed with the 45 M&Ps in the past, back during the 1.0 series. So again, another quick look. And this is that 2.0 M&P 45. And next came the New Mexico course. And for that one, I chose a true classic, my Browning High Power Mark III. This is set up in purely stock condition. There are no modifications to it whatsoever. The magazine disconnect safety is still in place. And even so, this has a very good trigger. It's hard to get a bad trigger with a single action firearm, although some high powers are better than others. This one is very good. It shoots very, very well. I enjoyed shooting it in that New Mexico course. And one more close-up look at this one, and this was contestant number 7. Next came my Beretta M9 that I was using to represent the Beretta 92 series. This pistol, just like the other ones that I've mentioned in this series, performed very well. This is such a smooth shooting pistol also, with this operating system that varies from all the others that I have on the table, at least all the other semi-autos. It does not have the tilting barrel, and because this barrel stays stationary as the slide cycles, it really feels like it shoots very smoothly. I don't feel the muzzle flip with my Beretta M9 like I do the pistols that use the Browning tilting barrel system. So I always enjoy shooting this. It shoots very well. In fact, as I recall, it shot better than I did on that course. But in any regard, this was number 8 in my list of 10 contestants. Number 9 on the list was my Smith & Wesson Model 745. This one, in terms of appearance, is probably my favorite one in this group. I like the two-tone. I like the gold scrolling on this side. And this one, some folks have referred to as a 3rd generation pistol. This is actually a 2nd generation pistol. Now, it does have some of the characteristics of the later 3rd generation pistols, like, for example, the side plate that you can see right here behind the slide stop is the type that was used on the 3rd generation pistols, but this is still a 2nd generation Smith & Wesson pistol, as you can tell by the wood grip panels, which I also think look very good, and the steel backstrap here as opposed to the one-piece wraparound style that was used on the 3rd generations. So, number 9 was my Smith & Wesson Model 745. And rounding things out on this group of 10 was the smallest semi-automatic pistol that I've used in any of these videos. This is my Springfield Armory Hellcat. The Hellcat, as I've said in the past, really shoots like a much larger pistol, which is why I decided to use it on a full-size duty gun course. I used this with the Oregon course, and the pistol performed very, very well. I've never had a malfunction with this pistol, and it just shoots extremely well. And one of the things I really did notice, and I'll try to turn this so you can see it, when I was shooting that Oregon course, was that big, bright front sight that's very easy to see. There's also a tritium insert rather, in the front sight to make it easy to see at nighttime or in low light conditions. And the Hellcat really is a fine micro compact pistol. So that's all 10 of the contestants that all of you had to vote for, and I'm happy to say all of these contestants received some number of votes. There were none of them that received 0. Everybody who decided to vote liked at least one of all of these. So that was good. And now it's time to start to announce the winners, and I'll kick things off with the 2nd runner-up out of this group of 10. The 2nd runner-up surprised me just a little bit. I thought with all of these selections and some of the very historic designs that I have here, some of those that are just personal favorites with the wheel guns, I really didn't expect this to be the 3rd place finisher in our vote. But it turns out that it was, and that pistol is my Beretta M9. Many of you voted for this pistol. I suspect it has something to do with the familiarity that a lot of you have with the Berettas, and many of you have used them as a duty pistol. Some of you are familiar with them from the military. I've mentioned in the past that these came into use after I left the Marine Corps, so I was never trained on one of these when I was in the military. But I've grown to be a very big fan of these pistols in recent years, and the Beretta M9 is the 2nd runner-up, or the number 3 finisher in our vote. The 1st runner-up did not surprise me. It's a classic design. I know it has a great following, and the reason is because it's a great firearm. That is my Browning High Power Mark III, as representative of the entire GP35 high power line. These pistols have a history that go all the way back to 1935. Actually, they go well beyond that if you go back to the time when John Browning was actually working on the design in the 1920s. These pistols feel fantastic. They point extremely well. As I mentioned a little while ago, this one has a great trigger. And even all these years later, and unfortunately the Browning High Power has been discontinued as of a couple of years ago, even so, this is still a great design. It's a great shooting pistol, and I had a lot of fun shooting this one on the New Mexico course. And we've arrived at the #1 selection that the majority of you picked as your favorite firearm from this last group of 10 qualification courses. This is a great firearm, and it's one that is a personal favorite of mine. I wasn't sure with all of these fantastic pistols up here how it would fare, but as it turned out, the majority of you ended up overwhelmingly, I might add, selecting my 3-inch Smith & Wesson Model 66 Combat Magnum as your favorite one from this last group of 10. As I've mentioned many times in the past, this is my personal favorite wheel gun. This is the one that I always think, someday when they're locking me up in a coffin, this may well still be with me and go with me to the grave. This is just a tremendous revolver. It has all the power of the .357 Magnum cartridge. It is compact enough to be very easily carryable. By today's standards, it's a little bit heavy. It's certainly heavier than something like the Hellcat. Even so, it's still very carryable. It's very shootable. This one has a tremendous action. It's accurate, and I shot this with the Louisiana course. I believe, if I remember correctly, I shot a 100% on that course using this revolver. So it's just a demonstration that even some 55 or 60 years after the Model 66 was first designed, or at very least was first manufactured, it still is a relevant fighting handgun. It still does its job just as well today as it ever did in the past, and there are many, many defensive shooters that would still be well served with a good, reliable, simple double-action revolver like my Model 66. So there you go, folks. That's your favorite one from this last group of 10. I'm going to be moving forward now into my next and what is going to be my final group of 10 state qualification courses. I'll have some new handguns in that course, or in those courses. You might see a few old favorites. Maybe 1 or 2 of these will make an appearance in those. Partly because I'm starting to run out of options that I can use in these courses, and partly because there are some of these that I just really enjoy shooting. So when we get done with that group of 10, I'll again put everything up to a vote and let you select your favorite handgun from that group of 10 qualification courses. So that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, make sure, as always, that you leave those for me below. Remember, if you purchase anything from Optics Planet, be sure to use my discount code, which is... And if you use that discount code, it's good for 5% off anything you purchase from Optics Planet. See you next time, folks. Until then, good shooting. Bye-bye.